Heyo, and what is up, gang? Thank you for checking out Sledgehammer TV today. I think the writing staff that puts together Monday Night Raw every week forgot a couple of things when they got together to put tonight's show on paper. I think that they forgot that this Sunday, just 5 or 6 days away, we got Extreme Rules coming at us, and this was supposed to be a go-home show for that pay-per-view, and it did absolutely nothing to generate any interest or do anything of importance pertaining to that pay-per-view this Sunday. I also think that they forgot that Big E cashed in the Money in the Bank contract last Monday, because this was his first night on Raw as the new WWE champion, and it didn't really go so well because there was another big dog in town. And we are going to talk about all of that and so much more. My name is Nick Nightmare. You are watching the Sledgehammer Wrestling Show's Monday Night Raw review and reaction show. Let's do it.
The Sledgehammer Wrestling Show.
You know, I don't understand the logic and the thought that they go through when they put together some of these shows. And I could be forgiving of a lot of things because Monday Night Raw has been so terrible for such a long time that, yeah, they promoted this six-man encounter between the Bloodline and the New Day, and it came seemingly out of nowhere, and it doesn't really make much sense to be going down right now, but I appreciate it for what it is. I knew it was going to be a good match, and I was looking forward to seeing that match tonight on Raw. But what I can't forgive is the fact that they opened the show with this matchup. I guess they wanted to give the show a hot start, right? But they really only used this pay-per-view level, pay-per-view quality six-man encounter that could have been the main event of Survivor Series, and they had it tonight, opened the show, and used it as a launching point to give us a triple threat main event that they very much hyped up as being a once-in-a-lifetime thing. We're never going to be able to see this match again because Monday Night Raw was headlined by Big E versus Bobby Lashley versus Roman Reigns. Now, once again, I could be very lenient sometimes, and I could be forgiving, because as I said on the SmackDown review, I'm not going to be so hard because all we ever ask is for the WWE to do different things and take a chance. And it doesn't matter why. I don't give a shit why. I don't give a fuck if it's because they're looking at AEW in the rear view. I don't care if they're looking at ratings. I don't care what the reasoning is. They're trying to make the show better. So you have to appreciate that. It's not their fault that their brains are so diminished of creative intelligence that they're panicking, they're jumping the gun, and they're giving us some good stuff, but it's not going over very well because it's not being built properly. And then we come to a show like tonight where we have two great matches booked. We had the six-man tag. Going to be a great match. But Roman Reigns and the Bloodline came out on top thanks to the interference of Bobby Lashley. This led to the triple threat main event, to which I assumed Big E was going to get a big win as he was on his first night as champion of his show. But I was foolish to think so because they proved what everybody was afraid of to be true in Big E's first outing. Everybody was afraid they were going to ruin Big E, they weren't going to take him seriously, and that they didn't really care. And that they just had him cash in the Money in the Bank to hotshot the ratings and get people talking and to swing the momentum back in their favor a little bit and raise the interest in WWE because, oh, you never know what can happen in the WWE. Look at what Big E just did. You know, and it was historic and it's meaningful, and I'm happy for Big E that he's the champ, but I can see behind what they're trying to do. I see past them, because if they really gave a shit and they really wanted to make Big E look good, they really wanted to show the world that he's going to be the head guy on Monday Night Raw, then he should have been victorious in that triple threat main event that shouldn't even have really been happening, because that is a match that could have headlined any pay-per-view all year long. It gets complicated because you're doing the champion versus champion thing and you got two brands involved, and they didn't really have to do this. They could have just had Big E cash in the money or, threaten Roman with the money in the bank, keep threatening the cash in, have the New Day go there and back up his buddy and have this whole Bloodline versus New Day confrontation there. But for some reason, they brought it all over to Raw, and they gave Big E the title, and now he has two matches tonight, and he doesn't win either of them. And who does? Who wins both of them? Roman Reigns, showing the WWE's true colors. They could have done the exact same finish of the triple threat match. All they needed to do was give the win to Big E. Roman didn't have to lose. Roman's not even supposed to be here. Right? Roman doesn't go here, according to Bianca Belair. But Roman shows up on Raw, gets two matches, and wins them both. Both of them at the expense of the newly crowned WWE champion. And let's not forget what it's done to Bobby Lashley. Him being the third man, destined to be the one to take the pinfall, comes out looking like crap. He really does. He only lost the championship last week because he was injured, right? He hurt his leg, and now he comes out a week later. He's not injured anymore. He's good, and then he still goes out there and picks up a loss in his first match after losing the title due to controversial circumstances. So now he comes out looking bad. Big E comes out looking bad. And the only person shining bright like a light is the untouchable Vince McMahon's golden child, the Universal Champion, Roman Reigns. Why? Why? At least on this night, it should have been about Big E. They started it off right. They started off with a great celebratory opening. Big E came out. He was very emotional. He thanked the fans that chanted New Day rocks. He even said he forgave all the fans that used to say New Day sucks. And he was thankful for everyone that was here to join all of it and enjoy all of it with him. And he was also very thankful to one very special friend watching from above. A nice little tribute from E to Brody Lee. And the crowd then broke into a nice little Brody Lee chant. That was very touching. But he said that party time was over because it was time to get down to business, and he was going to challenge the Bloodline tonight with his brothers in the New Day, and they were going to kick their ass because this is their show, and they're going to send them back packing to SmackDown. So I expected shenanigans in this matchup, but I didn't expect it to be the first match of the night. I thought they were going to build and do cool little segments and have the New Day taunting the Bloodline and vice versa throughout the night before we got to the main event. But instead, as I said, they used this tremendous opening matchup to set up an even bigger main event, both of which really deserve to be on a pay-per-view show, which is also showing just how weak the WWE has become. And they're starting to make some of the same similar mistakes that past companies that have competed with the WWE have made, that have now found them in the ground. WCW used to do this shit all the time. Once WWE started to pick the momentum back up, they started giving away shit for free that should have been held off for pay-per-view, and where did that get them? You know what else they did? They put all of the old talent over the young talent, which caused all of the young talent to leave and go to the WWE. And now the WWE is being guilty of that because they're putting over the older guys. We had Jeff Hardy come back tonight. Seemingly the WWE remembered Jeff Hardy was there, and people actually like Jeff Hardy. They want to get people to watch the show. So let's take Jeff Hardy from catering and put him in a United States title program. That's what'll get people to watch the show. show, not building new talent, not making the younger members of the roster into the superstars of tomorrow. None of that matters because we got Jeff Banner fucking Hardy. Banner. This guy was just running around with the 24/7 clowns a couple of weeks ago, and now he's fought his way into a United States Championship match. The only thing they did tonight pertaining to Extreme Rules was a rematch that we had to endure. Let's hit it. Rematch alert, everybody. We had to watch Sheamus versus Jeff Hardy, which we've seen about 17,000 times on SmackDown when Jeff Hardy was, getting bullied by Sheamus for being an alcoholic. At least we're not going back down that road. Not yet, anyway. But here we have a rematch between Sheamus and Jeff Hardy that doesn't really go too long. It ends with a roll-up, and because Jeff Hardy wins, he gained entry into the United States Championship rematch that Sheamus was going to have with the U.S. champion Damian Priest. So now that becomes a triple threat. That's the only thing they did for Extreme Rules this Sunday. So there was the go-home segment of the night. But what did they do? They didn't give the shot to a guy like a Ricochet or somebody young and exciting and new or different. They went back to the well, pulled the old guy Jeff Hardy card out because he means ratings. People love the Jeff. So don't mess with the Jeff. This is the WWE's MO. This is what they do all the time. This is what makes the show hard to watch. Even when they give us matches that have great, and great is the proper word tonight. We had some great wrestling matches tonight, but none of them made sense in a storyline capacity. This random out of nowhere feud between the Usos and Roman and Big E and the rest of the New Day, it's just being burned away and used right now, instead of being truly built up properly. Now, this could be them planting things along the way for a New Day versus Bloodline clash at Survivor Series, but you're already giving away so many of those key moments, and there's so much time until then. But let me throw this one last thing past you before we go through the up and down of the card. In the main event, wouldn't it have been maybe smart, since the brand split doesn't seem to matter in these last couple of weeks, maybe have Finn Balor show up in the triple threat to cause the distractions that you like to do? Maybe get Roman's attention focused somewhere else. Maybe Roman goes and chases Finn and starts to beat him up and gets caught up outside the crowd. Maybe they go fight into the back because, they're having a match this Sunday. So it would lead into Friday where you could bring it even further and build up more excitement for that match, which would have left Big E alone in the ring to take care of Lashley. And then you could have had that establish maybe a match for Big E on Sunday, because despite cashing in for the championship and being the new WWE champion, he doesn't even have a match at the next pay-per-view. And instead of focusing on that and setting him up with a rematch versus Lashley or for Lashley or something this Sunday, they just have them go out there, put on this great triple threat match, and nobody from Raw wins, and it's all a big waste. It's all a big waste. They could have also just done it the exact way they did it, but just have Big E come out on top. You see, because Bobby Lashley went berserk and attacked Big E with a chair, incapacitating him because there's no disqualifications in a triple threat match, which left Roman Reigns free to hit him with a Superman punch and pick up the win on Bobby Lashley. But they could have done it the same way. It would have protected Roman the same way they thought it protected Big E. You could have had Lashley attack Roman Reigns with the chair, keep beating him and beating him and beating him with the chair until he rolls outside the ring looking for protection. And then Big E hits him with a big ending. 1, 2, 3, the new champion of Raw, victorious in his first main event match on the show. It would have been a much better way to end it, and it would have made people believe that, hey, maybe the WWE is behind Big E. Maybe that wasn't just a headline grabbing thing. Maybe it wasn't just to make a splash. But instead we got the show we got tonight, so Looks like Big E was just used to make a splash. I hope that they could right the course from here, but I don't know where else they could really go. How could Bobby Lashley even get a rematch this Sunday when he ended up losing this match? I don't know. They don't know either. And in between the great six-man opening tag and the great triple threat main event to end this match, there was a bunch of your usual raw bullshit that gets nothing but a ton of poop hammers dropped on them. Because I don't care that you think Randy versus AJ is a main event on a pay-per-view. Sure, it is. It absolutely is. But we've seen it. Rematch alert, people. We've seen Randy versus AJ over and over and over again. We've seen the dreadful Eva Marie versus Doudrop stuff over and over again. We've seen Nikki and Rhea versus Tamina and Natty, and now tonight they beat them for the women's tag team championships in just a baffling move. These two girls are barely even a team. They don't mean anything to each other. They don't make sense being together. WWE's just throwing oddball couples together left and right, and every one of them end up being champions, even though they haven't established themselves as proper tag teams in any way. And it's just your typical Monday Night Raw bullshit. Let's go up and down the card. As I said, six-man tag opened everything up, but Universal Champion Roman Reigns and the Usos defeated the New Day in a very good match. This was a great six-man tag, not your usual, boring, dreadful six-man tag basic shit. This was good. They went out there to kill it. Bobby Lashley came out and started attacking the New Day with a chair. I don't know why this didn't lead to a disqualification, because WWE does that now. They just disqualify people for things that go on outside the ring during matches like this. Maybe it's because he attacked the two members of the team that weren't actually the legal men. I don't know what the loophole is they want to use. All I know is that they continue to be inconsistent here with their referees. But bottom line is, the New Day lost, thanks to Bobby Lashley. This sets up the triple threat main event. After this, we had Doudrop versus Eva Marie in an exact replica of what we seen last week. It doesn't even deserve a rematch alert because of the people involved. Now, it's not fair to say that. I like Piper Niven. I think she's great. I just hate Eva Marie. She's an absolute waste of space on this roster. She cannot wrestle. She still cannot wrestle. She's bad in the ring. Doudrop gets a win. I hope this means this is the end of it. I don't know. Before this match, Eva cut this promo where, they had to fat shame Doudrop because, Vince gets off on that kind of shit. But she thought she can get away with it because she's not like, oh, well, I'm not trying to shame you and I'm not trying to be negative, but look at me and look at you. Essentially saying, I'm hot, you're a fat piece of shit, you're a big hot mess. And then she went off to get her ass beat by the big hot mess, Doudrop, and I could fucking care less. After this, Big E showed up in front of Sonya Deville and Adam Pearce, the two GMs that aren't actually the GM but still act as the GM. And he screamed in their face about wanting a match with Lashley and Reigns. This is when we get the triple threat announced. Paul Heyman tried to get out of it. He complained about Big E, and they were arguing. He was arguing with Adam Pearce about it, but Sonya Deville informed Paul Heyman that it would be the triple threat tonight, and whatever. Heyman was fine with it. We had Randy Orton with Matt Riddle versus AJ Styles. Randy Orton defeated AJ Styles. This match was given a lot of time. This was a very good matchup. Almost got involved, but got himself ejected, and Orton would win with an RKO out of nowhere. This was a very good match. It's just a shame that it doesn't really mean anything. I mean, we've seen him in the ring in tag team against AJ. We've seen him against AJ in the past. This is a good match. Another match that could have been on pay-per-view with the proper build. But we got it here, and it was good action, but it just why? Why? Where is it even going? Do you even care? And that's the problem, because you don't. I also didn't care about Nia Jax facing off with Shayna Baszler tonight. This is the one feud that WWE has put a lot of stuff into and have tried a lot with, but I just don't give a rat's ass about it. They got a little bit interesting tonight because Shayna Baszler actually won a match tonight. And she beat Nia Jax, one of Vince's favorite toys. And not only did she beat Nia Jax, she submitted her, not passed her out, and then went on to attack her after, which would lead to Shayna Baszler putting Nia's hand into the steps and stomping on it. And then she put her arm against the steps and stomped on it. And then she seemed to be remorseful about it, but I didn't need to see that. I like to see Shayna Baszler doing this aggressive thing, and it also led to Nia Jax laying on the ground and squealing like a pig in a slaughterhouse. Now, that's not a fat joke. I swear on my life it's not a fat joke. It is just an accurate, literal comparison of the sound that she was making after the post-match attack by Shayna Baszler. She was squealing worse than the guy from Deliverance. It was ear-piercing, but kudos to her, because unless her arm was really broken and that's how she was reacting, that was some good acting, maybe a little bit overacting, but maybe it'll be a while now until we see Nia Jax. They're obviously going to make her come back and probably try to be a sympathetic babyface and have everybody be on her side as she tries to get vengeance for the broken arm. They're doing the same angle that they did with her and Charlotte Flair. That's what I'm telling you. They're repeating the angle. Only Nia's the victim in this act, not the aggressor. Speaking of oddball pairings, we have Angel Garza and Humberto Carrillo. All of a sudden, they're cousins. Apparently, they just found this out. Maybe they both got Ancestry.com memberships, and hey, look, the Garzas and the Carrillos are actually mixed in whatever way. I don't know. Are they even from the same place? I don't know. I didn't do any research. I didn't care enough. All I know is I don't mind it. We need more tag teams. This is a teaming that does make sense. They do have history in the past involving Andrade and Zelina Vega. They can't lean into that because they're not going to mention Andrade, so they're just magically cousins now. And they had a match with Mustafa Ali and Mansoor, which is another team that they just can't seem to figure out what to do with, because these two guys couldn't get a win if they paid the referee at this point. I think they're not really being a serious tag team. Ali and Mansoor are headed for a breakup before they've even begun. Like, they just can't get their shit together. They're, again, two somewhat mismatched personalities, because Ali's all serious and then Mansoor is just happy to be here, kind of guy, Garza and Carrillo beat them in less than 3 minutes here. So how good of a tag team are they really? But I don't mind this pairing. I hope that they get a decent name. I wouldn't be surprised if they did this to try to compete with the tag team division in the other company, being that there are so many Latin American tag teams there that are very popular. Lucha Bros. Just don't put them in any masks or anything because it's unnecessary. There was a Karrion Kross video package where I heard the voice of Scarlett saying "Fall and Pray," and I keep falling and praying that they're going to fix this gimmick, that they're going to give him back his girl, make him a lot more impressive on TV, but this video package not doing much in the way of that. Nikki, almost a shitty hero, and Rhea Ripley, the no one, defeated Natty and Tamina. Their title reign was probably the worst women's championship title reign I have ever seen in the history of these belts. It's a shame. It's a shame, because I was really happy for them when they won it. I really enjoyed what they were doing at the beginning, and then the WWE just decided that Natty and Tamina, despite being the champions, were just going to fucking lose to everybody. And now Shotzi Blackheart and Tegan Knox, who had a shot against them, I mean, does that still count? Does that carry over now that it's against Nikki Ash and Rhea Ripley? I don't know. Do they have to now beat them too instead and then go back to SmackDown and ride around on the tank and do nothing for another 3 weeks? You explain it to me. I don't know. I don't know. All I know is that I feel really bad for Natty and Tamina. These are two girls that are second generation superstars that deserved a lot better. They finally looked like they were going to have something special come their way, and it just fizzled out. It just fizzled out. And it was made even worse by the fact that they didn't even give these girls a match. Like, they didn't barely even defend their championships. As much as it is, they just went out there to fucking give them up. This is another match that didn't even go 3 minutes tonight, and I didn't care. Prior to this match, Nikki and Rhea came out and did a promotion for Connor's Cure, which is a great cause and a great message, but you could tell that these were not the two girls to give this fucking message to. Right? This should have been given to somebody who is a lot more seasoned, somebody who wouldn't be nervous out there and forget their lines. I understand it could have been emotional, but, you know, Rhea Ripley wasn't even in the WWE when they started Connor's Cure. So, I mean, how hard is it to memorize your lines? They know they have this Connor's Cure thing. Did they not have that set up until what, like 2 minutes before the promo? Here, go out there and read this, but you can't read it on air, so memorize it. I don't know. It just came across a little cringy, and I think that the pediatric cancer, message that we're sending here deserves a little bit better representation than that. I thought it made the segment bad. And that is a part of the segment, a part of the show, this particular segment, that should be emphasized on and be great. You know, like, they should give it to somebody who knows what they're doing so the message comes out crystal clear. That didn't happen there, unfortunately, for them. And it's not a knock in any way on Connor's Cure or them trying to promote it, because that's fine. But the way they went about it tonight, once again, didn't go over very well. We had an Alexa's Playground where Alexa came out, Charlotte came out. Alexa was mad that Charlotte didn't have Charlie with her, so Alexa brought another one. And then we got some pretty basic back and forth between them. Not the worst stuff I've ever heard from them, but pretty basic. Same old shit. Alexa Bliss wondering who Charlotte Flair is without the title. We've heard all that before. And then the crowd was like, woo! And then Alexa Bliss said, this was a funny line, it made me laugh. She was like, oh, that doesn't even belong to you. Referencing, obviously, Ric Flair's famous catchphrase. And then Charlotte was like, oh, don't even get started on originality, because Alexa Bliss, as of right now, is just the female fiend. She stole Bray Wyatt's whole gimmick. So that was a weird little, meta moment there that I appreciated. But all in all, this was the same stuff. She called Charlotte a bitch. Charlotte said she's going to retain her championship. They got into a brawl. Charlotte came out on top. She ripped the head off the Charlie doll and then went after Lily. But Alexa Bliss saved Lily by hitting Charlotte with a tornado DDT. Once again, this is what they did for the only other match they got scheduled for Extreme Rules, I guess. And it wasn't the worst thing in the world that I've seen from these two girls. The problem here is that I just have absolutely zero interest in this feud between either one of them. My investment in either character is at a minimal level, so I don't care about this confrontation between these two characters. And it's a shame, because I'm a big fan of Alexa Bliss, not in this incarnation, so to speak. I've always liked the character, and I've had my criticisms of her in the past, but I I've always liked Alexa Bliss. Charlotte Flair, I thought, was going to be just different than how she ended up. I think too much went to her head too quickly, and she stopped working to try to get better at promos and shit. She's good in the ring, but, I have my criticisms of everybody. But that's what a critic does. That's why I'm here. This is a critique. It's not personal attacks. It's just the way I see things. There was a 24/7 segment in the back where I didn't give a shit about the green-colored, gold-plated avocado belt. I don't think any of you guys do anymore. Apparently, the only 4 people in the world that give a shit are Drew Gulak, Akira Tozawa, R-Truth, and Drake Maverick. Oh, 5, and fucking Reggie, because this was the Reggie segment of the night. This segment was brought to you by Warner Brothers, because, they stole all of this from Bugs Bunny. This was ridiculous. Drake Maverick had a whole plan, and he and Truth and Gulak set it up. And Tozawa, they were going to catch Reggie in a net, but they missed and ended up catching Drake Maverick instead. What a great use of our time. Thanks, Drake. You're an asshole. Thanks. You're a waste of my time. No thumbs up for you. Get off my screen. Get out of here with your thumbs up and your 24/7 garbage t-shirt. Damian Priest joined the announce desk for commentary when Jeff Hardy took on Sheamus. As we already touched upon, Jeff Hardy beat Sheamus by rolling him up and gaining entry into the United States Championship match Sunday. For some reason, Sheamus said that this was Damian Priest's fault, even though he really didn't do anything to get involved in the match. I did notice that Sheamus was bleeding from the nose while getting up, so maybe that nose protection needs to be something a little better than that. Maybe a guy with a broken nose shouldn't be wrestling on Monday Night Raw. That's another story for another day. Then we had the non-title triple threat match that went almost 20 minutes long. It was really, really fun. It was a really good triple threat match. A lot of close encounters, a lot of really great near falls, great selling, great action by 3 fantastic talents. Roman Reigns was great in this match. Big E looked great in this match. Bobby Lashley looked great in this match. For a majority of this match, it looked like it was anybody's match to win. But the fact that Big E didn't win and that Roman did just really took all the wind out of this for me. Because in this moment, it should have only been about the WWE champion. Roman's got his own show. He's got a whole nother feud going on. And I think they really dropped the ball by not having Finn Balor come out and be the reason why Roman wasn't involved in the finish. That could have really built some heat towards their match this Sunday. They didn't talk about Brock. They didn't talk about the crown jewel. And at the very least, it would have made it feel like more of a go-home show, even though that's for the match that's happening on for SmackDown, because Big E, the WWE champion, doesn't even have a match. But it was really, really entertaining. It was a really great match. It would have been made even better had the WWE had the sense of mind to book it properly. Long-term booking, I know, might not really still be a thing nowadays, but it really would help tell these stories in a more cohesive fashion. By throwing all of this shit at us week after week, changing the game plan on the fly, and yes, I appreciate them trying. I appreciate the great matches that they're putting together, but they're not being smart about it. They have to put these matches together, put them on at the pay-per-view, and then spend 4 or 5 or 6 weeks on TV telling us why we should watch this match. That's how pro wrestling goes. That's how you get butts in seats. That's how you get people buying pay-per-views and network subscriptions. You do everything on free TV. Nobody cares enough to watch the pay-per-view. Because literally, both the opening and closing match of tonight's Monday Night Raw are going to be better than every fucking thing we see on Sunday. And that's a huge mistake. The WWE's headed in the wrong direction. Still. despite making moves that the average person would think are pretty solid. And I'm seeing a lot of support and a lot of love for the company tonight, and I don't doubt any of you guys for being hopeful. I don't want to come down on you guys for enjoying these matches. But just know in the back of your head that as good as it was, they're still on the wrong track. And we're still a little bit of a ways away before they right it. Hopefully I'm wrong on that, and it's sooner than later, because AEW continues to pick up momentum as I am getting ready just 48 hours from now, or 24 hours from now, depending on when you're watching this video, to be in the Arthur Ashe Stadium for the Grand Slam AEW Dynamite Spectacular. It's going to be great. I might do a little special show on it, telling you guys about how much fun I'm pretty much going to have. I'm already anticipating it's going to probably be a better experience than SmackDown. I don't know why, but I'm excited to be able to see Punk again. Going to see Daniel Bryan versus Kenny Omega already on the card. It's going to be a great show. So I'm going to be there Wednesday, and I can't wait. I'm really excited. Thank you guys all for being here with me once again. My name is Nick Nightmare. This is the team Thor the Sledgehammer, the official Sledgehammer of the Sledgehammer Wrestling Show. His tag team partner, the World Heavyweight Champion of all the microphones in all the world, Mr. Blue, the Yeti microphone, the most important member of the team, as always, each and every one of you, which is now why it is time for you to do all the YouTube things that a Sledgehead needs to do to continue to get Sledge Nation to grow. Smash that like button. Share this video with all your wrestling buddies all across the wrestling globe, especially if they need a place to come and take a dump on the WWE where they could be safe and fun and have a good time like we do here at Sledgehammer TV. If you, what else? Don't forget, I said the like part, right? And you shared, like, oh, right, subscribe. Don't forget to subscribe and become a member of Sledge Nation if you are not already. That would be fantastic, as we are still struggling to hit that 3,000 mark, but we're going to get there. We're going to get there. Maybe before Halloween we can get there. That would be a fantastic thing. Thank you guys all once again so very much for your continued love and support. Let me know what you think of this piece of crap show down in the comments below, and we will see you Friday night for the review of the final go-home show before Extreme Rules, which they might actually, book like a go-home show, but probably not, as we bring the hammer down on SmackDown like we always do. That, my friends, is going to do it. We are out of here, and we will see you next time right here on your new favorite wrestling show, the Sledgehammer Wrestling Show, only on Sledgehammer TV, right here on YouTube.com. And as always...
Thanks, Vince. Oh.
I mean, at least he's trying, right?